Any predictions to start?
Well, these wild card matches, my friend, out of all these teams, if I was an audience member placing my bets, I would bet on Bernal Empires because of how well they've done in their appropriate division.
Yes.
But surprises can occur, especially with this difference of that warm-up session versus the fatigue, right? So #RU already has one win under their belt. I'm sure they're feeling great as a team. They maybe got the jitters out for today. They're warm, ready to go. Bernal Empires, this is their first match of the night, the only match of the night.
They're starting cold.
They're starting cold, so that could be an advantage for #RU. The flip side of that, Bernal Empires watched how #RU played.
Exactly.
And therefore, they know the commitment patterns for drawing out, forcing the strategy to happen, forcing the engagement, and they can read their opponents better today if #RU doesn't have a second plan.
Yeah, #RU will be playing on Ruinberg again, so that strategy that they used last time, if they get the same side, Bernal Empires might be ready for it. If they flip it up, maybe they don't know. Maybe that's a bit of a mystery, you know?
Yep. Before we get into the match, though, I'd like to remind everyone to please follow us on Twitter at WGLNA, Facebook.com/WGLNA, and our hashtag WGLNA on Twitter. It's easier for us to find your tweets and to show them on the broadcast, as you have seen. The question of the day today has been of the teams that are fighting tonight, trying to make it into the playoffs. River of Blood, Bernal Empires, #RU, and Fun Gaming. Who are you rooting for? Let us know. Also, finals happening at PAX Prime, August 30th. That's a Saturday. Doors open at 2 o'clock. The show begins at 4:30. If you can't make it physically, we want you to watch the show. It will be broadcasted. It's only one day. In the past, we've had 2 days of broadcasting for the finals, but since we're bringing 4 teams, it's going to be an excellent experience. We'll have 4 matches, the semifinals, the 3rd, 4th place match, and then the finals themselves. $100,000 is the prize pool, $50,000 going to the top place team. Fnatic did it in Season 1 and Season 2. Simp were able to crown themselves a champion in Season 3. It's still anybody's game here, since after the wildcards, the top 8 teams have to make it through the playoffs, and that's a double elimination tournament. And we have a lot of tweets that are coming in from our viewers. Rookhill, what do you have?
Well, I've got one from Walter Ingson. Says, I'm rooting for Bernal Empires. They played well and deserve a spot in the playoffs.
All right, Walter.
#WGLNA.
Let's see if that's going to make a difference. If one fan can make a difference. I think it can. Betting.
Is he in the belief business?
Betting begins at the beginning of the face-off, which happens for this match. You have 4 minutes once the face-off begins. Any questions on how to bet, ask the people in chat, but it's real simple. Use the exclamation point bet, the number of points you want to bet, and then the team name. You need to follow the syntax exactly. If you don't have any points, it's okay. You'll be reset to 10 if you bet all your points away, or if you're just new to betting, you start with 10 points. The leaderboards for betting will be announced at the end of the season. We already gave away some Type 59 tanks 2 weeks ago, but we have more prizes to give out, so you want to keep the bets going. It makes a difference when you keep your bets, and when you bet well as well for these teams.
I mean, you could just bet randomly. I mean, anything could happen, right? Especially tonight.
Especially tonight. Anything can definitely happen. Okay, Rukel. Let's talk about these 2 teams, and we already know what's at stake, but let's look a bit at kind of history of who they've defeated, who they've lost to, and kind of the analytics of can they win against their opponent. First off, let's talk about River of Blood. Here we are once again, dear friends, with a familiar tale of a must-win for River of Blood. This season, they defeated Googly Bobbers, they took out Refuse to Die in a tiebreaker, and they defeated Gong Fu. They lost to Fnatic, Bernal Empires, Hammer Time, and the Cunninghams. But that's for River of Blood. Let's talk about Fun Gaming and Bernal Empires first, since they're the first matchup.
Of course.
I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm talking about the 4th matchup. So, Bernal Empires, they defeated Gong Fu, River of Blood, Refuse to Die, and the Googly Bobbers. Their losses were up against Hammer Time in a tiebreaker, which I always throw out there as don't throw it like Bernal Empires did.
Yeah.
They had the lead 2-0, and then they had a wild, crazy idea to chase one of the tanks on Prohorovka. They took way too much damage, and from there, Hammer Time was able to sweep the next number of battles. 1 draw did occur. It took them to a tiebreaker. They lost to the Cunninghams, and they lost to Fnatic. Now, 2 weeks ago, they were in 2nd place. which is an awesome place to be in. They were able to earn that place after their win against Refuse to Die. Now they have to fight to make it to the playoffs. And it seems like yesterday, Randall, when I was asking G-Forcer in the face-off, hey, how does it feel to be in second place? How does it feel for your team? Sure, you're really excited about that. But with that, we're just waiting to make sure that G-Forcer is ready via Skype for our face-off. He is ready. All right, G-Forcer. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
We just have you today before you face off against Fun Gaming. Now, this is your last game before you can make it to the playoffs. Based on your performance overall this season, are you feeling pretty confident?
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with Walter. We feel like we've done pretty well this season. We've been somewhat inconsistent, but we've beaten a lot of teams. We've also lost a lot of teams. So we'd love a chance to get to the playoffs, and in the playoffs anything can happen. So we're just hoping to get there first.
That's very true. You still, even a win today, you still have to fight through the playoffs. Talking with the individual team members today here playing on a Saturday, is everyone 100% mentally, physically? Is everyone here, all your starters here?
Well, yes, all the starters are here. And we knew kind of going in that, I mean, Fnatic, we wanted to beat them, but it's Fnatic. We weren't exactly super surprised with the results. So we kind of came in knowing we would have a chance to play today. So I think we're good. We're ready to go.
All right.
Okay. And then, did you get to watch the matches earlier? Study your opponent?
Somewhat, yeah. We did watch #RU. They did beat Fun Gaming, so that was interesting to watch. I don't know how much we exactly gleaned from it, but it was still a good preparation for us.
So no special counters, no special strategies or tank lineups to beat them out?
Well, we've never played Fun Gaming before, so we've watched them all season though. So we're not going to change too much just based on what we saw a couple hours ago. But over the whole course of the season, you kind of see what they like to do, what they're going to try to accomplish, and we're going to do our best to counter that.
So you haven't even practiced with them?
We've actually never practiced with Fun Gaming.
Oh.
As crazy as that is. Almost everyone else, I'd say, but yeah, it just hasn't happened yet.
All right. Well, it's beyond practice now. It's go time. G-Forcer, Bernal Empires, best of luck. We'll see you on the battlefield.
All right. Thank you.
G-Forcer, good guy.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Never practiced.
Never played against his team.
I would have at least expected them to have practiced at least just once or twice, maybe even just once against them, but no. And that's surprising because almost every team finds a way of practicing with everyone else. Usually cross groups. Group B guys practice with anybody from Group A, and Group A practice with anybody from Group B, and then they try and find other teams to scrim with here and there.
Yeah, it's well, I can believe it. It's not too unbelievable because Fun Gaming is a newer team to the Gold League here in America. They made it through the qualifiers.
Yeah, but they don't really have any problems communicating with everyone else.
No. Receiving some information from our production side, looks like there was a disconnect as they're trying to set up the training room.
Facepalm is having internet issues.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
1 week he told me he was going to have to play from an internet cafe. No, from a coffee shop using the wireless there.
Using the Wi-Fi there. A little tough to play tanks that way.
Yeah.
I can imagine the struggle is real for him. Well, let's take a look at the rosters, at least for these two teams. No changes have happened, obviously, except a couple weeks ago when there were a little bit of changes for Fun Gaming.
Yeah, they brought in Lucky and Snowfail.
Yep.
And Bernal Empires brought in Tarho and Urtai. Players that were from Simple Tankers past season are now on Bernal Empires. If I go down and look at the rosters tonight, Tarho and Urtai will be sitting on the bench. I was hoping to see them play, but looks like all of the starters will be here, including people to be in backup, which you have to give it to Bernal Empires. They've got everybody on Saturday night, not normal schedule. They're here seriously. As I look at the roster for Fun Gaming, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players.
Yeah, they're at 6 players right now. They had that possible disconnect. The thing is, Fun Gaming is obviously playing at a crazy time zone a lot of times because some of them are all the way in Eastern Europe. But beside that fact, Bernal Empire's study of what Fun Gaming #RU did, I would be super aggressive because of the draws that kept happening between those two teams.
Possibly. It doesn't seem out of the way for Burnell Empires to do that anyway.
But the warning is what Simple Tinkers was trying to do against Fun Gaming, which worked against them, is they were hyper-aggressive, and Fun Gaming read that earlier on because they studied their opponent beforehand, and Simple Tinkers was doing phenomenally well against other aggressors, but against the camp style of Fun Gaming on those maps, they fell apart.
Yeah, I think it came a lot down to the execution. It's not necessarily how you're being aggressive against not that you're being aggressive, it is how you're being aggressive, excuse me. And Burnell Empires executes aggressively rather well. You have to give it to them. They're very coordinated. They don't get over-aggressive when it's unnecessary. They know when to stop and regroup. They should be able to take on their opponent just fine here in this battle.
More or less. More or less. We can only theorize so much because we have to judge, analyze the individual records of these teams and how their performance has brought them to this point, and then look at similar teams they fought in their own division. Can you think of a similar team to Burnell Empires?
In their own division.
In the opposite division.
So
Burnell Empires is Bravo.
Yeah.
Which team would be similar to Burnell Empires in Alpha?
You could say Arbis.
I want to say Arbis as well. I will agree it's Arbis. Okay. So Arbis
was a trick question.
Arbis versus Fun Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what happened in that series offhand.
Arbis versus Fun Gaming was a 1-0 in favor of Arbis. That was the one
That's
where...
right. They turned it around.
Yes.
That's right. That was so cool because they got the win and then they drew the rest of the battles.
And that was actually in battle number 4 when it was on Himmelsdorf. They managed to win, rather cleanly, by the way. And that was it. They just drew until Fun Gaming made a push. They won, drew the next one. It was over. GG. Same thing could happen here. Don't think Burnell Empires would like to do that. Let's play a strategy completely out of the norm. No.
Yeah.
Looks like Facepalm's actually back now, and he should be in the battle. May start in just a moment.
Okay. Ruinberg.
Yep.
First battle's going to take place. 2 KV5s? Will we ever see that again?
Possibly. I mean, it's a weird strat. There's a lot of hit points. You're trying to counter the 5100s. I don't agree with it, really. It's... KV5s are nice. You know, bless their little hearts. But KV5s are kind of not that great at DPM. They've got great hit points. Yeah, the armor's actually imperfect in many ways, especially when you take it up someone at the highest level. When you're at the best players of the best, they're not going to bounce as much on a KV5. Yeah, they'll bounce here and there. Everyone does. But KV5's generally not as effective as tanks like the IS-3, maybe the 110, or just bringing more 5100s. But if you're going to take that strategy, sure, go with it.
I like the KV5 and the Waffentrager. Maybe not on this map, but
I was joking when I said that yesterday.
I want to see it.
Yeah, okay.
I want to see it. I want to see it work.
Fair enough.
Then the joke's on you or me.
Then I can just say I wasn't joking.
Falling for it. All right, battle number 1 is going to take place. The 2 teams right now battling the wild card. Burnell Empires versus Fun Gaming. Rookhill, what do we have for tanks? KV5s.
We have 3 AMX 5100s, an IS-3 at T-32, T-32 Josh, and 2 T-1 Cunninghams for Burnell Empires. Fun Gaming, the blue team in the south, will have 2 5100s, 2 KV5s, a 1390, and a single T1. They are short a player. I don't know why.
Yeah, they were not short a player earlier on.
Some internet issues must have happened. I have no idea.
Possibly. Somebody had another commitment on a Saturday that they couldn't make.
A commitment bigger than this. This is playoffs.
I know.
This is Seattle.
I know.
Actually, saying this is Seattle is a little bit less epic than it sounded in my head.
This is Seattle, where it rains once a week, where the salmon tastes fantastic, and the Sonics used to play, and they only live on in the hearts of the Seattleites.
What?
The Seattle Sonics.
I don't know what that is.
All right. Facepalm and Miss Rocky. They'll be the ones in the KV5.
Yep. And we've got Azrael watching the middle of F Crossroads and his IS-3 reverse angled pretty well. In the meantime, there is a bit of a motion from Bernal Empires. They are going to start shifting to the south ever so slightly. We've got Z Garmin actually heading down the 0 line. And he will not find anything because Fun Gaming is in the southwest, making the hardest of all hard camps. This is turning out a bit like the Cunningham's Hammer Time match of earlier.
Yep, that spread is very similar on the side of Bernal Empires.
Yes, except we have a little bit less 1390s, heavier lineup. I think that's a smart call by Bernal Empires. They're going to be able to break the camp a little easier. However, they do have to pay attention to the fact that there are 2 KV5s here. That could be very difficult to break the camp. It's a lot of hit points. I remember on Ruinberg back in the old days of tanks.
Back in my day.
When we used to have to take on mice, 15 of them, in the southwest corner, and they would stack up along the wall. And then we would kill them all with artillery.
Is that back in 2012?
Yeah, back in the long time ago years of 2012.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It's when I graduated college.
Yeah.
Son of Hail, hanging back in the window section of this burned out building.
Now, it might be a good time to remind you all about what it is to break the southwest camp.
Yep. And as I detail that southwest camp for a little bit here, you look at Predator and Lucky, battle buddies around the corner. They're closest to the fountain. Right behind them, you have Facepalm. Dulo is hanging way back in the T1 in a very guarded spot. Now, Facepalm and Miss Rocky were together, but now Facepalm's going closer to Predator and Lucky.
Oh, fair enough.
And here is Miss Rocky. She is next to that keyhole. Still camping in those keyholes. Those KV5s, though, you can't miss them.
I mean, you're going to have a hard time penning.
Yeah.
All right, so the approach that we'll need to see from Bernal Empires will have to be based on the current positions, probably from the north, right on in, sneak on through F2, stop at the church for a moment, make your push, right and around, and then pinch on the sections of Hotel 1, and
shot fired. No connection yet. G-Forcer and Azrael, however, trying to get a couple of those shots across that fountain section. And they're able to land one hit, but it's still going to be a standstill. Oh, another nice shot from G-Forcer into Miss Rocky.
All right, those are some connections. That will reduce the hit points of that KV5 to 1136. And putting the health pools a little bit back into the balance. Bernal Empires doing okay. Looks like we've got maybe a flank coming in. Static, Zone Delta. And now we don't have a southwest camp so much anymore. As much of a southwest half push thing.
Caravan.
Yes, caravan. Thank you. How do you describe this position? It really is actually very fragile.
Yeah, it's a leapfrog caravan where they could get spread out and isolated if there was a push down one of these alleys, but they would still be very vulnerable for Bernal Empires to make that type of commitment. 5 minutes left in the battle.
Bernal Empires is assuming too much from their opponent right now. They don't recognize the weakness in Fun Gaming because they just don't have the scouting information. They have all heavy tanks, meaning they don't have that 1390 to spot the bad men when they run away. They have to use their T1s, which actually have very little view range and are spotted at about the same range as the higher tier 8s will spot them.
4 minutes, 32 seconds. Facepalms, check in with him. He is in the KV5, still hugging. You know, if Bernal Empires in their attack were able to dodge the KV5, shot fire from Azrael, and focus on the 5100s that got those kills first, they could take this.
I mean, they could.
Easier.
They just have to actually execute on it. That's the problem. They're trying to flex around. They don't know the answer yet. And they're getting close, actually. They're finding their way. I believe Bernal Empires has begun to recognize that there's possibly a weak position from their opponent that they could exploit. and they're going to begin trying to probe that out. We've got G-Forcer in the mid. Servios has actually made his way all the way to the other side of the map. And in his 5100, may be able to put pressure on Cap. I think he's going to find Snowfail, though. 5100 there, meaning unless we see, what are the T1s? Oh, we could have a fast Cap. T1s are getting very close to the south. If both of them are in the south, usually an indication of the intent to fast Cap. At the same time, we're going to see G-Forcer with, that is Zone Delta. Two of them could begin to screen and create an alternate engagement. Static in the north is currently defending with Azrael, but they could make a push from the north, simultaneous push across the F line, and then a fast Cap, which would be executed by Servios, Zigarman, and SBM Hawk. So you've got two objective problem to go for, right? You've got that Cap fast, and you've got a real fight. Unfortunately for Bernal Empires, they do not know that 5100 is there, do not know Snowfail. Snowfail's moving.
He's moved away from that defensive place. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The spread from Bernal Empires is still really far apart. So if this trigger is pulled to get the tanks on the flag cap, and they recognize more than two or more, I should say. If they recognize 2 or more tier 8s, focus on the flag cap, and the north could sweep in.
Okay, that's the fight. That's where it's going to be. It's going to be in the north with a fast Cap. Bernal Empires has every reason to be able to win this. They're stacking up. It looks like Servios is ready with the other T1s. SPM Hopkins and Z Garmin are just waiting for the word. That's all they need. Azrael
Bounce against Facepalm, fires a shot.
He's been spotted.
In the dirt.
And that will also prompt a push from G-Forcer. We're going to see a flank from a T-32 and from a 5100 Zone Delta. You're getting ready for that fast Cap. With KV5, say I can fast Cap because, well, not fast Cap, but whatever.
Well, Facepalm is now heading back, and G-Forces get to see him first. Fires on the miss.
It's going to turn into a screen. And will Zone Delta actually spot the cross in the west? That's the important part. Fast Cap has begun. Where's the push in the north that needed to be happening about 10-20 seconds ago?
What they need is some great track shots right now. Zone Delta fires. That's another bounce. Trying to track. He's still aiming for the tracks. Gets a track against Facepalm. 10 seconds left. The rest of the push still coming around the corner. Lucky in the front in the 1390. Can he get there in time? 5 seconds to make it happen. 4, 3, 2, 1, and base has been captured. Bernal Empires was a point on the board. A minute to spare in the battle. Nice heads-up play, and I loved how they were trying to get those track shots in the KV5. A giant house of a tank, and they're able to get it to slow it down. Now, Lucky in the 1390 and the rest of the 5100s are going to move faster than the KV5s. We know this, but it's the principle that's so important, and that's what Zone Delta was able to accomplish here.
He took what he could get. He did not go for some targets that were too difficult to fire on, and good timing. See, Bernal Empires did the thing I was complaining about in the previous matches. Making those moves a minute sooner, giving yourself time to actually get the win. Whereas, you know, instead of playing it a little bit closer, a little bit riskier as far as time goes for your opponent to come back if you mess up, they just gave it a whole extra minute. And it worked. That was it. They got the fast Cap. They had enough time to do it, even if there was a reset, there was maybe the possibility of this fight going somewhere. It was a good play. Bernal Empires. Smart play.
Well, it really changes the pace now. It's no longer a draw on Ruinberg, which is what we've seen in battle in match number 1, match number 2 tonight. So that sets the pace better for Bernal Empires. I talked about being, aggressive, hyper-aggressive.
Yes.
The aggression happened towards the end of the battle, but this is actually an even deeper type meta. Follow me on this, okay? Your team is not warmed up yet in comparison to the other team. The other team is expecting the same result, the same outcome as their first battle. It's comfortable to play a draw on Ruinberg because that's what they did earlier against #RU. You placate them for only so long and then you pounce. You get them into an area of comfort and then it takes longer for them to move out of that type of predicament.
I like it.
I do too.
It's a good call.
I do too. I really, really enjoy that type of either thinking or it could have been pure luck to make that decision.
Very possibly.
Yeah.
A little bit of luck is always involved because you're throwing risk out there. Every move in tanks is a risk.
Yep.
Your opponent could be behind this corner. You can try and proxy it. You can do a lot of things, but that costs time. And time is also a very precious resource in this game.
It is. That's why you have to use it to the utmost advantage. And that is when to pressure, when to hold back, want to go for the flag cap. Brittle Empire showed us that. Can they do it again, though, on Abbey? Maybe. Maybe they have another trick up their sleeve. 18 seconds left to go for the countdown. Real kill. What do we have for tanks?
2 5100s, a Pershing, 2 1390s, 2 T1 Cunninghams for Bernal Empires, the red team, spawning in the south. In the north, the blue team Fun Gaming will have 3 AMX 5100s, an IS-3, a 1390, and a single T1 Cunningham.
Bernal Empires to the south. As I twirl my fake mustache. Just helps me think better.
We can have our admin twirl his real mustache.
Yeah, we'll have Cameron, Cam Dozer, twirl his real mustache. The thought going through my mind right now, Rookkill, is Bernal Empires, if they want to defend, they have the advantageous position to do so in the southwest. They're not going for it. We're seeing more tanks move. One of the tier 8s, 2 of them actually, on the eastern road. The rest of the tanks in the center. While Fun Gaming is in the northwest. And their conglomerate of tanks are all the tier 8s, the 5100. While Facepalm and Lucky, they're following them as well. Lucky's actually in the center.
Interesting play. And now we're going to get that east-west polarization. And we're going to see a slight bit of movement. Azrael, SPM Hawk, moving to the north. Azrael just kind of driving to the side, one way and the other. Doesn't want to pass SPM Hawk because the T1 can die. But the TA dying is bad, right?
Oh, T1 dying is very bad, Rookkill.
But the TA
That's
dying,
Tanks 101.
But
the T8 dying is super bad. All right, Bernal Empires cutting the map in half. Now pressing Azrael and SPM Hawk towards the flag cap.
Are we going to see another fast cap?
I'd love to see that. I would love to see that type of pressure happening for Bernal Empire. Shot fired from G-Forcer towards the center, towards Snowfail, Facepalm. And they're getting out of that scenario.
You shouldn't have had an angle on that. Oh, wait. That was static. Static fired at the middle. What an angle. Interesting. Now G-Forcer is moving up in that Pershing. He is getting ever closer. Just a little closer. Maybe not too close, that's dangerous. Stay about there. That's about a good spot. In the meantime, it looks like SPM Hawk is gonna... Oh, nice climb. I did not realize T1 could climb there, but never tried. He's getting very close to the cap. With him is Azrael. Could see cap pressure if Lucky is scared away. Bulow is dead. Yeah, that could work. But Zagarman in the south may end up finding himself Facepalm, who is in a IS-3.
I'm looking at Snowfell right now, just watching him kind of camp the area, look at some of the dead tanks. Maybe say a little dedicatory message towards them. And Snowfell now gonna head back north along with his compatriots for a defensive play, possibly against the flag cap, where Bernal Empires is set for a pronged push to the north. And what better way to secure another win to do so, to show the world they can do it, not more than once. They can do it 3 times in a row. That'd be fantastic.
For them, not for Fun Gaming.
Well, not for Fun Gaming, but that's the thing. You get overconfident, you get too cocky. You say, hey, we can do it once, we can do it twice. Leave yourselves too open. Fun Gaming will take advantage of that. This is a team that punishes aggression the most. That's not a first place team in the division.
Now we've got Static actually moving up. Bernal Empires making some gains. And they're going to put Static right up against the mountain.
Predator and Snowfail going for a dip. And they're going to be centering into the center section. Now here's where things can get a little bit tricky. If G-Forcer can scout them early on, then they could apply pressure to the center with their tier 8 tanks and with G-Forcer as well.
G-Forcer.
Oh, nice G-Forcer! Yeah, Predator, Snowfail, they're going to back up malfunction on that plan.
It's getting a little bit dicey.
Yeah, Miss Rocky's going to be joining him, though, however. So G-Forcer needs to be a little bit cautious in case he gets overmatched. But the Tier 8 from Bernal Empires that was down the 6 road, now coming back up top.
And that could turn into a very effective flank if Facepalm can get some work done. Perhaps not. If we see a real push out of Bernal Empires, or if they back off. Static is moving up. Azrael is in a nice coverage position. Not the best, though. And once Static starts an engagement with Lucky, we'll need to see 1390s be highly effective. This is a heavier lineup for Fun Gaming. An outright brawl will go in the favor of Fun Gaming.
Well, Facepalm, however, could set up a really good distraction if he can push through. I don't know if the IS-3 can fit through these.
He cannot break on 13%.
Whoa, whoa. It's a little bit caught, but he's spotted.
Can't fit. No, wait. He can fit?
No.
He fits.
Wait.
It fits! And it
He goes
sits.
right through! And he hits Zone Delta to the back, and here's the press coming from Fun Gaming on both sides. Zone Delta is low. Servios needs to move in. Well, he can't really do much because there's a blockage happening because of the wall on the house. Facepalm takes down Zone Delta. And here's where Bernal Empire starts to fall apart. But the amount of damage being spread across Fun Gaming is huge. And there goes Servios. Two
One
tier
by
8s
one.
down.
They're going to fall like dominoes from now on.
Static takes down Miss Rocky from a far shot. Tries to hit Predator, can't get it. G-Forcer fires against Facepalm. Snowfail tracks G-Forcer. Facepalm using G-Forcer as cover. Snowfail gets the killing shot. Azrael and Static still left alive, though. And now Lucky and Static duking it out. Static solo, and he falls. Azrael 90, last one alive.
Lucky's burning. He leaking. And it's out.
Bernal Empires was not prepared for that pincer attack in the center.
I don't know. There's a chance for Azrael to bring this back. I mean, it's kind of going to be diminished by that shell from Facepalm. But I mean, you know, there's always a chance here.
Come on, Predator, think thin. Think thin! Makes it. I think Fun Gaming did not know that an IS-3 could fit in that area. They scouted him ahead of time.
There's a legit chance Azrael can bring this back. Think about it. As long as he doesn't die right now, he's...
And nice attack coming from Fun Gaming.
Yeah, I think Bernal Empires really put themselves out there. And they kind of held somewhere in not one of the strongest positions. It was just not... It didn't have anything super tactically sound about it. That was the problem. They didn't have real control of the Abbey. They were kind of below it. They had some 1390s out in the flanks. They didn't use their mobility, was also a big problem. But Fun Gaming, to their credit, utilized their heavier lineup. Did enjoy this IS-3 sneaking through where I thought you would not.
Yeah, this is where the trigger was pulled for Fun Gaming. And because they could focus on Zone Delta so quickly, and this is what I was talking about, he can't really escape. He's backed up against the wall, and Servios can't move in to try to help him because the crossfire is happening just north of there, and he'll enter right into the crossfire.
Now, he could have gotten around the corner. There's a little corner there that he could have gotten around, but he wasn't being that smoother driver, so unfortunately he wasn't able to escape.
Azrael was 6 for 6
Not
in his IS-3. That was huge. Or, excuse me, Facepalm. Predator was 7 for 8. Lucky in the 1390 was 7 for 7, and Snowfail was 5 for 6.
Okay, that's pretty good. It's a solid performance. Fun Gaming did a solid job. Nothing hugely wrong with anything they did that battle. Their reaction was on time. 1390s were in good positions. They took some extra damage here and there, but it was a very unfamiliar ground to have a brawl in. We don't really see real brawls in the Abbey in that manner with that many tanks. Maybe it's 1 or 2, maybe it's 3v3, but never like 5 kind of smashing each other all at the same time. It just doesn't happen.
No, not that often. Not that often. That's one of the best gauges we've seen in the center on Abbey. And that's why it was a good surprise for Fun Gaming to use. However, can they do the same thing on Ensk? Well, Ensk has a couple tricky plays and gets shut down very quickly by the usage of the railroad tracks. And Bernal Empires is an experienced team. They've been in the Gold League more than Fun Gaming. But Fun Gaming has won more Russian land tournaments than Bernal Empires.
Fair enough.
Here we go. Battle number 3. Rookkill, what do we have for tanks?
We got 3 AMX 5100s, 2 IS-3s, 2 T1 Cunninghams, for Bernal Empires, the red team in the north. Fun Gaming, the blue team in the south. We have 3 5100s, 2 IS-3s, and a single T1 Cunningham. Still unable to find that extra play.
Oh, that's a very good point to make, Rookhill. They are still down a man, and they were able to take that win.
Yeah. They did it without a T1, which is commendable. T1s add quite a bit of potency to your team, especially on Abbey, where you need them for your flexibility.
Yeah, even on Ensk, too, by being able to scout the east.
And the west.
And the west, but sending a runner on the east to make sure no tier 8s are creeping up.
Yeah, fast cap, also mostly out of the out of their choices. Out of their arsenal, if you will.
Well, Miss Rocky, Snowfail, and Lucky, they're looking towards the railroad tracks here. Lucky is up first.
And
Snowfail backing up behind him.
Look at that. That kind of a push might be able to catch him off guard. So Zone Delta is watching down the 5-6 line, but he's not watching where his bomb is coming.
No, he's
not. He may
not.
be caught by surprise, especially because there's a building. Nope, okay. Building might not be in the way now. Zone Delta, if he moves forward now, he could spot this. Oh, just inch up, and then surprise!
Oh, nice shot from Zone. Well, no, it wasn't. Lucky gets hit after a second shot, but Zone Delta gets hit twice from the IS-3s. That
Ouch.
shot from Zone Delta was a track shot. It was a quick snapshot, though.
That really hurt. That's half of his hit points. He's at 646 now, and there is a counter push.
G-Forcer.
Azrael moving in. They will begin to trade some damage while T1s fight.
And there's a bounce off the front. Azrael and G-Force will try to punish and stop base palm. Now a nice return shot. SPM Hop tries to cross into the east to make sure there's not a second push happening on that side of the map. The one tank that is moving in that direction is not the T, is Predator, actually. One of the 5100s, not the IS-3s. But look at Bernal Empire's positioning with Servios, along with Static to the south.
Yes, they're going to be getting ready to flank. However, Servios has been discovered. 852 health left on him. And that push will be stopped short. Unless Bernal Empires can bring their IS-3s down south and just pinch the 2 tanks down there. Something. Maybe come back to the north and just destroy Lucky and Facepalm now that they know those tanks are in the far south. That could work. And shots right under the train tracks. No connections.
7 minutes, 12 seconds. Still plenty of time for another engagement to happen between these two teams.
Dulo is about to find SPM Hawk. He is backed up by Predator. SPM does not notice anything.
Oh, he hides behind the truck.
He appears to have not been expecting that.
And Predator takes him out. Now the east is in jeopardy.
He blew his load right on the door of that building. Like, he just started clicking. It just makes no sense.
Zone Delta's firing towards the house, shooting through, no dice. Predator backs up, still no damage. Dulo will push forward, thinking that Zone Delta's going to be on the reload, and gaining that ground will scout, give more information to Fun Gaming on the potential positions of the rest of the Tier 8s. And still, these IS-3s are on the railroad tracks, cutting this map in half almost. Shot fired.
Dulo could get himself spotted. Servios could get the kill on the T1, removing any T1 cap possibilities for Fun Gaming. G-Force fires at... Okay, we're going to see a retreat from Bernal Empires. They recognize their disadvantage. They're down to T1. Hit points aren't exactly in their favor, and maybe they should start giving some ground. Static, though, is going to play a flexible position, waiting to find something. He really needs to decide what to do. Zone Delta playing the backfield. I think he was going to try and flex down to the south, maybe flank the current positions held by Fun Gaming. Cuts that one short as well. It looks like a regroup to maybe push on the north. That could work.
Still the IS-3 is holding back. Dulo leaving his more forward position in favor of Alpha Zero, as Predator is still hugging that area, still covering the east. Another shot towards the Bernal Empire's position does not land.
He must see Servios, because that shell was incredibly close. Servios at least thinks so, and he's actually keeping his head down. He's like, what's going on? Why did I just take fire? I should not have been spotted. Doesn't make any sense.
446. Predator falling back from that eastern side will join the rest of his team. Fun Gaming in the center, and this is where a push can happen. HP is pretty spread evenly, at least for the in connection with the IS-3s. But Zone Delta, that half health along with Servios.
Is Fun Gaming going to be making a counter push? It looks like they're gearing up for it. I mean, they've got 3 5100s, right? Chilling out right there.
All together.
Yeah, getting ready to make a push.
We're just going to hug the line for now, as the IS-3s will fall back. And a shot fired towards blind fire. So now Fun Gaming is turning their attention, all tanks, to the west.
They're going to start their push? Ah, I see.
Well, still a longer sweep.
Moving right down to the south. They're going to make their way to the 1 line. Make a push up. That could make some sense. That would pinch the current positions held, which is pretty much just real easy box of zone protection covering the cap, covering perhaps a little bit of a southern approach, but they're avoiding that, and so we're going to see pressure from perhaps 2 sides. T8's currently on the train tracks will move up, crossfire in, and you're going to have a pinch.
And now 3 minutes. It's still enough time for an engagement to happen now. Now, if they're going to make this happen.
No, or it could just, but they're going to the 1 on shore.
But this is, where do you place Dulo? That's what they're doing it right now. Dulo's going to stay in Kilo 1. So if this push does happen, they already took out the 2 T1s from Bernal Empires, so there's not going to be that cause to chase, at least for the T1s, to try to find them.
That's the push. They will probably, hopefully not stop at this point if they want to achieve victory. 1-1.
Here they continue. These teams are fighting to go to the playoffs. Loser, they're done for the season. Winner moves on to next week.
And there's actually no... Oh wait, is there someone spotting? Azrael, G-Forcer, Zone Delta, Static, Servios. Static is facing the wrong way. He will not recognize the fact that there are people behind him. And he's going to take damage. He recognizes that he's spotted, I think. And he right backwards. Yes, that's the right play.
Here comes the pain train. It has no brakes as Facepalm and Predator will get the surround on Zone Delta. Facepalm fires. Can't get the kill yet. Predator takes a shot to the side. Misses as his turret was not fully to his target. But they take down one of the tier 8s. Still all tier 8s left alive. Static will take down Lucky. Predator and Miss Rocky need to trade HP. They ram into each other for 9 damage. Predator goes down. G-Forcer takes a hit.
Now Snowfail is coming in. Could begin a flank.
There goes Miss Rocky.
Miss Rocky is dead.
138.
And their
Fun Gaming has only 1 tier 8 left.
There's no reason that should have failed, actually. This makes almost no sense.
They missed shots. They missed shots. That's what happened. Snowfail now falls, so they find Dulo with 1:23. These tanks need to move to the south. Get on that flag cap. Force that T1 to come to you. If you can afford to have one of the tanks, one of the quicker tanks, try and find the T1, go for it.
Dulo's sitting in the back. He looks like he's getting ready to move out of this position. He moves north right now. He could do it. However, there's not enough time. He has to actually delay the cap to stop a victory from Bernal Empires. This will not mean victory for them yet. They won't have it done yet. But they will be very, very close.
Bernal Empires will stay on the flag for 15 more seconds. Dulo can't do anything. He's going to stay in his bush. He's going to stay in that position. 10 seconds left on the field. But Fun Gaming with their attacks, it seemed they had it, but they were too crowded together. I mean, it's not even crowded together, but the way they were going up the 1 line, they were taking way too much damage. Because it's a bottleneck effect. That's what I'm looking for. It bottlenecked out. They kept missing their shots.
Yes.
Bernal Empires then had the surround on them.
They failed to execute on the first tank, is what I think it was. They failed to kill Zone Delta properly. They go around, look at this, shot goes into the house. Facepalm should have zeroed. If he had zeroed his shell, no one else would have to be going around this corner trying to get this kill. Everyone could have just gone past that T8 and just gotten into the fight, and it would have been more even, but it wasn't, because they had to waste an extra 3 seconds killing this tank, turning their turrets the wrong direction. Everything was wrong about that. That's what did it. It should not have happened. You don't miss your shots. You make your execution and you win.
Can't. You can't miss your shots.
It was waiting. It was right there. They had element surprise, everything. Then they missed their shots.
And that's also, when it's a responsibility of one tank to kill that tank, when that fails, that becomes this panic of, well, do I help them kill that target, or do I move to the position I need to go to?
Everyone kills the target, then moves on. You can have some people go past, but if you expect your guys to execute, you shouldn't have to worry about it. You know? Yes, kill this target. It has to die. But you also have some people that must go on to do bigger and better things.
And that's where, because it took them so long to kill that one tank, Bernal Empires was not being aggressed upon on their other tanks. They got into a better position, and they were starting to...
I think that's going beyond, though, the problem that just existed, which was that they missed their shots.
Yeah, I mean...
You can't make any argument about the...
I know that's the problem,
yeah,
but that is the effect of the problem. That's the consequences. Once this is a problem, this is what happens.
Yes, okay. Once that happens, you can't really have all these really logical explanations for this. When people just don't perform, what are you going to do?
You lose. That's what happens. You lose when you don't perform in World of Tanks. We broke it down for you, simple enough. 15 seconds left on battle number 4, taking place on Himmelsdorf. Bernal Empires could charge for the win or play defensive, forcing Fun Gaming to win the next two. Or the next one at least, and then possibly play for a draw. Rookie, what do we have for tanks?
2 5100s, 3 IS3s, 2 T1 Cunninghams for Bernal Empires. Fun Gaming will have a 110, 3 5100s, an IS3, and a single T1 Cunningham. Still unable to get that extra player on their team. Really hurts. And now they're going to head towards the hill. Looks like Bernal Empire is making an eastern strat. Azrael going to stay behind as an IS3. Everyone else, it's party time on the hill.
Keeping that one tier 8 at the flag cap, wouldn't it be better for overmatching on the hill, as like we saw Simp do against RBIS?
Maybe. Could.
It could be. I like that complete team cohesion,
yeah,
all in one place.
You expose different weaknesses when you do that.
I know.
If it's a strategy that works if your opponent does a small range of things, and I say small.
Like send 4 tanks, something.
Like send 4 tanks.
Like what RBIS did.
If your opponent does not, and they send 1 tank, while the rest are below ready to fast cap you, you will lose.
Well, lucky to be unlucky here, because Servios is going to see him first.
Oh, Servios. He is zeroed and ready to go.
Shot into the dirt. Lucky fires back for the first shot. Servios hits dirt again.
Servios. Now that is a reason to lose the hill and give it up.
It might be RNG. But now they're going to press.
There's a little bit. The reticle on a 5100 isn't so great that you can't RNG into the dirt.
Lucky will escape with no damage being dealt to his tank. And Bernal Empires does take control of all the hill, but Fun Gaming's now going to press.
Past cap time.
Fast across tank ally. Well, actually, they're going to stop at the Delta corner. It's Dulo and Facepalm together. T1 Facepalm notices static further on. He's going to wait for the rest of his team to move up.
Not spotted. He's right around the corner. He's actually completely hidden. It's almost a trap because he's watching the west. He's watching across the beeline. Now he's finally going out, and surprise, there are tanks. Predator takes 1 shell. He's down to 1,049. Azrael may be the next one to get a real connection if he peeks out. We have a return, though, for the rest of the tanks. Servios coming back. Zone Delta actually flanking with Zigarman and SBM Hawk. I think we got counter cap pressure waiting to happen.
They need to go now.
It's an all-in by Fun Gaming and a solid defense waiting to happen for Bernal Empires. They are a bit spread out, though. G-Forcer's too far away. Servios a little bit far away as well. And once the fast cap begins, it's going to be very tight for Bernal Empires to be able to defend this.
This is tough. Bernal Empires, once they scout the amount of tanks to the north, that's when their tanks to the south have to push to get on the flag cap to pull hopefully one of the tier 8s from Fun Gaming. But if they do too much damage against Bernal Empires, then that one tank is going to be out of the fight and they'll know it. Miss Rocky takes a hit.
All right, and that's going to prompt a bit of a response. G-Forces moving to the south, Static moving to the south, Servios moving straight ahead, getting ready to stop this. And there is going to be Facepalm moving back to the south. Fast cap in the south begins now.
22 seconds left for that flag cap to happen. Shot from Azrael does not connect, does not reset. But they need to reset here. Predator now pushing across. They're going to screen the cap.
Servios and Azrael, they definitely need these kills as soon as possible. There are 9 seconds left. Azrael must go forward. There is no option. There is no other choice. He must go. Snowfail will stop him. But can he stop Servios? Servios slips on through, but no, he will go down.
Azrael, can he get there in time for the reset? Wait, base might be captured on both ends. Base has been captured on both sides. And there will be some attacking happening.
There are deaths. The battle will continue shortly.
Still continue. And
it's
now
over.
The battle has ended. It is a draw between both teams.
Okay.
That's how close it was. Sometimes it gets so narrow, ladies and gentlemen, they have to wait and make sure. But it is a draw since they capped at the same time. Whew.
A few seconds sooner from Bernal Empires, and they would have had that one.
Yep.
That's it. A few seconds sooner, they just go out, recognize, yes, I die, I just need to stop this cap. That is it. That's all they need to do. Bernal Empires would have had the cap, and there was, I don't think, any situation, very few, I'm sorry, in which Fun Gaming could have gotten it back. They could have fired all the way into the south, random blind fire, and gotten a reset. Possibly.
I really liked the positioning of the IS-3 and the T1, though. That was perfect.
Just
in
about.
Placement. The IS-3 was not too far from the corner. The T1 was hugging that side. And if a tank was on either side, you have the IS-3 blocking it enough, and then they're going to get punished if they try to move past the IS-3 to get the reset. So it was a really good placement.
Yeah. Also, by the way, timeout has been called by Bernal Empires after that battle. Either they're trying to just catch their breath or figure out what strategy they need to bring on this battle. I'm seeing tanks readied up already from them, though. And that will mean... What will that mean for mines?
Well, where are they going to spawn? Let's check.
Well, spawn points are going to be Bernal Empires to the south. To the north, we've got Fun Gaming.
Bernal Empires will camp.
They will.
They have that advantage. They have the advantage of camping to the south, if you can say that's an advantage, because I really like the northern side with the higher ground. However, you do have high ground in the south as well. The thing is, the spread is a little bit further for the tanks, but there's another number of rocks I can cover. Thing is, Bernal Empires, camps, Fun Gaming has to press against them to get the win. It's a must-win scenario for Fun Gaming to take it to a tiebreaker. If you have to play defensive, play defensive. If that's a one card to play to get the guaranteed win, do it. You don't have to prove anything, Bernal Empires.
You may have that. Bernal Empires, though, could just make this a clean 3-1, prove to everybody we are better. They could also do that and just avoid the chance of Fun Gaming figuring out their defense and then exploiting it. Once your opponent figures out your defense and you have not changed it, if you have a static defensive position, a position that will not change, and your opponent figures it out, they have all the time in the world to execute as long as they've done it soon enough, right?
They do, but the thing is, it's a window of opportunity, correct? If Fun Gaming hesitates with that window, it's still in Bernal Empire's
That's all
favor.
their fault. But once they know their defensive position, Fun Gaming can win. It is, every time that I feel I've figured out a defensive position, right? I'm sitting there on the team, we're like, all right, these guys don't seem like the guys that are going to move. They have this defensive position, we figure it out, execute, you win. Defensive positions don't work when your opponent actually figures out what you're doing and how to beat it.
Well, it's true, but can Fun Gaming do it? They weren't able to do it against RBIS. They lost in that scenario. Now they're in the same type of scenario with Bernal Empires. They have to win this battle in order to take it to a tiebreaker. Battle number 5 between both teams. Rukil, what do we have for tanks?
5100, 2 T-32s, 2 1390s, 2 T1 Cunninghams for Bernal Empires, the red team spawning in the south. Fun Gaming. In the north, the blue team will have 2 5100s, 3 IS-3s, and a single T1 Cunningham. I love their choice, actually, on mines. While I prefer light tanks, I find it interesting that they bring a heavy lineup to this map. And the opening move from Bernal Empires, understanding, I think, Fun Gaming's usual strategy, which is take the hill with brute force. Sending tanks around, static, Azrael, in their 1390s.
No, it's Eastern play coming from Bernal Empires, Ruko.
Oh, Eastern play? Did I say Western? What did I say?
No, it's I was just throwing an Eastern play kind of joke. They're not fully committing, but they can find Predator here.
Oh, this split.
Which
this
would be huge if they could find this 5100 and get him.
If.
Zagarman's pushing out. And there's one shot and they track him. Beautiful shot from Static. That's going to slow him down.
He's burning. He is burning.
Azrael pushing out. The T1 doing some damage as well, and they get it. Static only took one hit. Bernal Empire's now in the lead with a tier 8.
And that's going to prompt a push right in the middle. 3 IS-3s and a 5100 down on Zone Delta and G-Force. Servios is coming to back this up, but that is a heck of a lot of damage.
This push coming from Snowfell and Facepalm to get away from that aggression from Azrael and Static is smart, but can they get the kill? They get one. Servios still in the firefight. They need to focus on one tank, and they're not. Snowfell still alive, but here come the 1390s. Azrael takes down Lucky. Azrael now firing against Miss Rocky. Miss Rocky so still staying in the fight. Servios not having to flee.
He could get away. Run, Servios. He has to take one more shell and he goes down, but those IS-3s are it. They're the last damage dealers. And now the cap has begun.
All he had to do was stay alive to distract the IS-3s. And since he will be on the field, he can still be a point of aggression. He can find Dulo, too, to try to stop him. 33 seconds left. All those tanks are going to get on the flag cap. Bernal Empires, you were right, Rootkill. You were right. Prove that they can do it in a 3-1. On the attack, on the offensive. Beautiful. They take down the T1, 12 more seconds. Miss Rocky and Facepalm, last tanks alive. Try to get the reset. 6 seconds left, but a shot fired from Static up top. Trying to seal the deal so Bernal Empires can make it to the playoffs. A reset happens, but 3 more seconds left. Miss Rocky takes down Zagarman. The fight continues. Static lands another shot against Miss Rocky. She falls. Facepalm takes 2 big hits as he rounds the corner. 11 seconds left. He's going to focus on Servios first. He's almost down. He actually can't get the shot, and they do it. Bernal Empires battles their way through the wild cards, and they go to the playoffs.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That was heads-up play. They understood that the IS-3 5100 combo was incredibly strong. Fun Gaming had bullied numerous other teams in mines with that strat, or at least something very similar. Said, hey, let's just avoid it. Let's move around. Let's use flexibility. We brought this lighter lineup. 1390s. Luckily, I think to you know, credit luck a little bit here, because it wasn't entirely them. They find a 5100 out of position. Easy kills. Great for them. First shot is a track shot. You could not have asked for a better shot than that. And then the second one catches him on fire. Makes it even easier. And that 5100 goes down incredibly fast. Could not have asked for a better situation for Bernal Empires. Everything came together for them there. Down below the hill, though, that could have gone pretty sour if they had not actually dealt some real damage to different tanks. The 1390s actually focused on one of the rear tanks.
Yeah.
Because they focused at first, the T-32s, on one of the rear IS-3s, 1390s, when they came in, had an easier time killing the IS-3s. They deal less damage, 240 damage, I believe, per shell on the autoloader, which also has lower pen. They have trouble dealing with IS-3s sometimes. If they angle well and they just move their tank rapidly, you can see bounces. So I think I saw a few of those from the 1390s, making it so that when you had the IS-3 at low health, it was easier to kill.
Also, the one note that I could say for Bernal Empires on mines is that they need to focus on one tank. Even though the 1390s were coming in, there was 2 or 3 tanks that had spread damage, and that's, you know, it's a testament to Fun Gaming to spread that damage.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get that 5100 killed, then you're like, we focus on the next tank now. They don't have the same firepower we do. Let's put that together. Don't worry about who's in front or who's in back. Fire on one tank and get the kill. And especially when you can push in when the 1390s are coming around you. That's just a small note for Bernal Empires. I still got the win, but that's something when I see that, I'm like, well, Fnatic would have done this. And that's the difference between Bernal Empires and Fnatic.
Yeah, you're right. That focus fire was fairly lacking.
Yeah. Bernal Empires did it, though. Fun Gaming, it was great to have you in the Gold League, and now you have to fight through relegation, but I'm sure they can make it through against some of these Silver League teams.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
They were one of the top teams this season, especially early on.
Yep. So they will finish in their division in 5th place. Brunel Empires finishes in 4th. We have one final match, the last wild card. That is between the last 2 remaining teams, obviously. But that's going to be #RU versus River of Blood. The final matchup, Rookhill, before we start the playoffs next week. I'm really excited for it. We'll talk more about that matchup, the history of these 2 teams, maybe some analytical predictions when we return after this.